Thank you so much, Dr. Tafari, for allowing me to come in and do this interview. So let's go ahead and get started. So, what do you think is the most important for students planning to enter college to understand? So basically, what do you think, if you're going to college, what is it that you need to understand to be successful in class?
So, one of the things that's most important for students coming into college to understand is that focus. Focus. I'm going to give you more than one thing. Focus, strategy, and discipline. Focus is important because it's good to really think about the big picture. What do you want to do when you grow up, so to speak? What do you want to be? What impact do you want to have on the world? We should all be thinking about what impact we want to have on the world, right? That's the principle in the Nguzo Saba Kuumbas. How can I leave this world better than it was when I inherited it, right? So we should all be thinking about that. So what impact do I want to have on this world? Do I want to be a teacher? Do I want to be a doctor? Do I want to be an attorney? Do I want to, be a community activist? Do I want to be a scientist? So once you have that focus, once you have that idea, then you figure out, well, what do I need to study? What's the course of study that I need to help me get to achieving that goal, that end goal that I have? So that helps us determine a major. So it's good if you have an idea of what it is that you want to do. And again, not what's going to make you the most money, but what is going to help you impact the world most successfully. What's going to be fulfilling to you. Not emotional, not just finding, I understand we have to pay the bills, right? But what's going to be fulfilling to you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, in addition to helping you pay the bills, right? So that's really important. Strategy is important because what you study in college needs to not just be something that you like, but it needs to also be something that you're good at, right? And I'll give you a personal example. I really liked biology. When I was in high school, I did well in high school biology. I really liked learning about life and living things and living organisms. But I got to college and I realized that I was much more of a humanities person. I liked literature, I liked writing, and when I had to write those papers in my biology class, I was writing them like I was writing for an English class. And so I did not do well because scientific writing is very different than liberal arts writing, language arts writing. And so and also I had the capacity to be a biology major. I had the ability, I was smart enough, but I was not prepared with the work ethic to be successful as a biology major at a university. So I did not do well. I had all C's and D's, and then I got an F, and then I decided, okay, it's time for me to change my major. So strategy is important, right? Because if I had decided to stay a biology major, first of all, I probably would not have graduated. I would have continued getting C's and D's. I might have been able to get my act together. But I really had to make some change, and I had to stop and really think about who I was as a person and what was that goal. And my goal was not to be a scientist. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to be, at the time, a high school biology teacher. So I said, well, okay, maybe biology is not the subject that I need to teach. Maybe it's another subject. Maybe it's something else that I want to do that can help me achieve my goal. Remember, I talked about that big goal at the end, right? So sometimes we have to make tweaks along the way to get to that goal, but as long as we have that goal in mind. So the strategy was then saying, okay, so biology is not the major for me. Let me change my major. Changed my major a couple of times, and I ended up majoring in psychology. When I was really honest about who I am as a person, I love people, I love learning about people, I love interacting with people. Psychology was the major for me because what do? You spend all your time learning about people and how people think. And I minored in anthropology because I have a passion for culture. And so that was able to really line me up so that I could be successful in achieving my goal. Strategy was so important. Not just what I liked, but also what I was good at. I was really successful as a psychology major. And then that last one was like, discipline, of course. So discipline and focus. When you get to college, let's keep it real. You have freedom, right? I call college supervised adulting, right? Because you have this freedom. You don't have your parents there to tell you what to do every single day. No one has a curfew on. There's no curfew. There's no regulation in that kind of way. So you have to not go buck wild when you go to college. How do you manage that? How do you not become a binge drinker? How do you not start using other kind of drugs? How do you not stay up all night and eat everything that you see, right? So you need to know how to manage yourself. You need to be disciplined. You need to figure out, well, what are the good foods? What kind of foods should I be eating to help me achieve my goal? Remember, right? Because we're always keeping that goal in mind. When do I need to go to sleep? Can I stay up at midnight? If I stay up at midnight, will I be able to make this 8 o'clock class, right? Setting your schedule is important. So all of that is a part of the discipline, right? Really self-management, time management, knowing how to manage and make sure that I take care of and I'm able to complete all of the different tasks that I have to do. And college can be very competitive. It can also be very intense, and so it's important for you to have discipline as you go into that. So those three things, that focus, strategy, and discipline, I think is really important for you to know as you go into college, because then you're not splashed in the face with a bucket of cold water, right? You have an idea, you know that it's going to be hard going in, and then you're able to be successful and successfully maneuver that freshman year. Nobody told me that before I started college, and I drowned my freshman year. I ended my freshman year of college with a 1.7 GPA. That's bad. That's really bad, because I didn't have the tips and tools. I just didn't know. And so I was able to recover, obviously, right? But you can go in. If I had known those three things that I just shared with you, I would not have had a 1.7 my freshman year. So I know you can go in doing better.
Okay, got you. Question number 2. Different professors have different styles. What are how much can styles vary teaching the same subject?
Well, think about it as we're all human beings. Every single human being is completely unique and different, and that's how teaching is as well. Professors teaching the same exact subject can do it very differently. I like to bring music into my classroom, and particularly hip hop. I like to use hip hop as text in my classroom, break down the lyrics, figure out what are the messages in the song, what are the artists trying to teach us about that particular subject. Some people don't like music in the classroom, some people don't like hip hop at all, right? I like to do a lot of group work, a lot of group activities, get students working together. I think that human beings tend to excel when we put our minds together, because not one of us is perfect, right? But we become perfect when we work in groups. We put all the parts together. So in my classes, you'll see a lot of group activities, a lot of collaborative learning happening, opportunities for independent thought and independent practice, for you to work by yourself, but also opportunities for you to work together, opportunities for you to share your ideas orally, opportunities for you to share your ideas via writing, opportunities for you to draw your ideas, right, and tell us how you visualize some of the concepts that we talk about. So my classes are very what we call multimodal, right? I use a lot of different learning styles and a lot of different approaches to teaching and learning in my classes. Some professors will stand there and talk to you for the entire class. That is so not me, right? That is so not me. I love myself, but I do not want to listen to myself talk for 60 minutes or 75 minutes, and surely not for 3 hours. So you will not get that from me. It's important, the only way that you will know that is to talk to other students. So make sure when you're starting a college and you won't know your first semester freshman year, that you just won't know. But as you get to know other college students, and especially upperclassmen, ask them who are the professors that you should take that are particular to your specific learning style or your particular need. Some students like a professor that's very straightforward and is just going to sit there and talk to them. They want to take notes. They don't want to do too much interactive stuff. And if that's good and if that's your style, then you should find a professor like that. There are professors like that. Some students need to be moving and more interactive in the classroom. So there's professors like that as well. There's professors that teach right to the textbook. There's professors who assign readings in a textbook and then they talk about stuff totally different. They don't talk about the textbook at all, but they still expect you to understand what's in that textbook. So you have lots of different types of professors. I told you a little bit about the kind of professor that I am, but like I said, professors are going to vary, and the best way to get to know them is to talk to upperclassmen.
What are the non-negotiables for your students?
For my students, it's a non-negotiable. You have to try. I always say you have to put forth effort. I'm going to come to class every day and put forth 100%. And I need you to do the same. Now, I'm human, right? Just as you're human. And sometimes I have bad days. But when I do have a bad day, I still say, when I walk into this classroom, I have to give these students the best that I got. And sometimes the best that you got, sometimes the best that I have may not be 100%. Maybe it's 80 on that day, right? But I need you to give me all 80. And same thing, when you come in, give me the best that you got on that day so that you're getting what you pay for, right? The thing that I think students forget when they go into college is you are paying for this thing. Get your money's worth. And so a non-negotiable is being seeming uninterested. The beautiful thing about college is you get to pick your courses. You get to pick what you're studying, right? You have to take certain things, like you have to take math and science and things like that. But you get to choose which math class you take with what professor and at what time. You get to choose what type of science you take with what professor and what time. So make your choices wisely and then invest in your choices and be happy with that, okay? So a non-negotiable, again, is to come to class. You're not going to sleep in my class. It's not happening. And I really want you to put forth some effort. You put forth the effort. Effort is really all you need to be successful. I recognize effort. I give credit for effort. And I'm going to work with you. If I see that you're putting forth effort, then I'm going to work with you to be successful in the class. But if I see that you're just showing up and you're not doing anything, and you're not putting forth the effort, I'm going to work with you to try to motivate you. But I can't, I need you to really give me something to work with as well, because like I said, I'm human. So that's a real non-negotiable. You have to put forth effort. If you come to class and you're not really trying to show me that you really care for this topic, that you want to be there, then it makes it difficult for me to help you.
How important is writing to your class?
Writing. Well, I teach several different classes. One of my classes is what we call a writing intensive course. So writing is always important, and I teach 2 online classes, and in the online classes, as you can imagine, writing is crucial because all of your responses are in writing. So it's important that students take their time with writing. I find that a lot of times you have an assignment that's due on the 31st and then you decide to start working on it on the 30th. And I know because I've been there, I've done it. But what you want to make sure that you do is that you give yourself more time. If you do on the 31st, start working on it on the 1st. And you don't have to do the whole thing on the 1st, but do a little bit and then come back to it every couple of days or so. Work on it so that maybe it's finished by the 20th. Maybe it's finished by the 25th, and then you can take it to the writing center, because every university has a writing center. Get somebody else to read it. You proofread it so that when you submit your work to your professor, it's the best work. It's the best you got, right? Remember I talked about that. It's your best work. It's really polished, then that will help you get the best grade possible. So writing is very important to everything that you do. Reading and writing are foundational skills. If you can read, then you can learn how to do anything. If you can write, then you can communicate your thoughts and ideas to anyone, anywhere, because you can write them down, and that's useful in social media, in email, professional emails, and in business letters and personal letters. So writing is crucial to your success in college overall.
And studying, how important is that?
Studying. Wow. I think what's really important, what I have found is that a lot of teachers and professors will say study. Study, study, study. All my life I was told to study. But no one ever taught me how to study. No one ever taught me what does it mean to study. And so it's important that you learn how to study. Now, studying looks different for different people. For some people, studying could really just mean reading over your notes, right? For some people, they have to take the text and create questions from the subheadings, answer those questions, and then quiz themselves, right? For some people, studying means working with a partner, and you read a portion, I read a portion, and then we share those portions, and then we quiz ourselves. We quiz both of us on those portions. So study looks different, but really learn how to study, and learn how to study in a way that meets your particular learning style. Understand what your learning style is. Look up learning styles online. There's all kinds of great inventories. There's a VARK inventory, VARK. And a lot of times they give you tips for studying that meets your learning style. So don't just do what other people have told you to do. Don't just do what you see other people doing. Learn about who you are, right? Your learning style. If you're a kinesthetic learner, or if you're an oral learner, you like to hear things, or if you're a visual learner, learn about how you learn best, and then utilize study skills to really help you be successful. But studying is crucial in my classes, because the purpose, you're coming to school, right, to learn stuff. And so the way our brain works, sometimes you learn stuff and it goes right out. Right? So, or you learn stuff, you deposit it into your long-term memory, and then it gets stuck there. So you need to understand ways to kind of retrieve that information. And that's really going to be subjective. That's really going to be based on individual people. So studying, learn how to study, practice studying, and become successful at it. That's what's going to help you be a strong student.
Do you offer office hours to students so they can ask questions about things that they're studying and researching and writing about?
Oh, I absolutely offer office hours. Actually, all professors, full-time professors at universities and community colleges are required to offer office hours. That's part of my job. I teach courses, I advise students, I have office hours, I research and present, things like that. But so office hours are a part of my job requirement. Don't let a professor tell you not. If they are a part-time professors don't have mandatory office hours, but all full-time professors have office hours. So I have 8 office hours a week. That's the requirement here at Winston-Salem State University, 8 hours a week outside of class, that I have to be in my office and available to students. And I'm in my office. Now, if you come to my office during my office hours, I might be doing something. I might be, writing emails or grading papers, right? I'm not just going to sit there looking at the door waiting for students to come, right? But just knock on the door and say, hey, and then come on in. Usually what I do is I say, let me finish this email, and then I give my students my full attention. And so I encourage you to come visit your professor, visit me during their office hours, because those times are set aside for me to make sure that I'm in my office, to make sure that I'm available to answer your questions and help you be successful, right? My job is to help you be successful in the course. Professors don't get paid more if we fail students, right? It looks better when students are successful in the area. In office hours, attending office hours is one of those ways to do that. So really take advantage of that.
Okay. So do you mostly teach upperclassmen, freshmen? Is there specific ones that you're focused on? Are you more towards the front end when they're first getting in, or more towards the people who are getting in what you teach now?
So I teach a range of students because I teach a range of classes. One of the classes, when I first started here at Winston-Salem State University, I taught predominantly juniors and seniors because I was all teaching specifically major classes, 3,000 level and 4,000 level classes. And I still teach 3,000 level classes, which are predominantly juniors and seniors. But right now I'm also teaching 2 classes that are 2,000 level, and freshmen and sophomores are in that class. In those 2 classes. So one of the classes actually is about half freshmen and then half other students. So I teach, and I really enjoy it because I like working with younger students. I also like working with more seasoned students who've been here for a while. So I get to teach a range of students in my day-to-day.
Okay. And then lastly, how important is turning things on time into your class? And do you give students opportunities to redo an assignment for a better grade?
Whew, okay. So it is crucial that you turn in work on time. I actually have a student this semester who was concerned about their grade. And then when I reviewed their grade, I said, well, you have 2 assignments you did not turn in. And what I do in my classes with my students is I give my students a grace period. So let's say the assignment is due on Sunday. I usually students submit the work online. So let's say the assignment is due on Sunday at 11:59. I say, okay, if you don't get it on Sunday, you get it on Monday, I'll still grade it, but it's minus five points right off the top. If you get it in on Tuesday, I'll still grade it, but you get minus 10 points right off the top. Wednesday, minus 15 points. Thursday, minus 20 off the top. And then after Thursday, you can keep it. I'm not grading it, right? You get a 0. So the grace period for me really more mimics the real world, right? In the real world, if you don't pay your credit card bill on time, they don't just shut your credit card off and turn you away. They accept it, but you pay a penalty. So that's why I offer a late penalty. I give students a grace period, but I give them a late penalty for submitting late work. Some professors don't take late work at all. Some professors do take late work and don't give you a penalty. So you can see I'm kind of in the middle there of doing that. And that's really important because, again, it mimics what's going to happen in the real world, right? And I hate using that term, but in society, after you graduate from college, it mimics more of that. And it also gives you a break. Sometimes, you know, you overslept, you had a family emergency, stuff happens and you need an extra day or two, and it allows you to still get your work in. You get hit with a little penalty, but trust me, even an 80 is better than a 0, right? So even if you have to wait those 4 days and you get that 20 points off the top, that's still much better than a 0. So I tell students, I say, hey, if you need the extra days, take them. But because it doesn't make sense to just say, well, I'm going to get a penalty, so I'm not going to do it. Because do the math, right? A 80, a 70, even a 60 is still better than a 0. And I do allow students to redo assignments, certain assignments. It really depends on what it is. If it's a test, no, you don't get an opportunity to redo that. You have to study, you have to prepare for the exam and be successful in the exam. But written papers, most often I give students the opportunity to redo. I'm grading lesson plans right now, and I give students feedback. I tell them what they're doing well, what they did not so well, and then I say, please revise and resubmit this for a higher grade. So it really depends on the assignment, but I do like to give students the opportunity to redo assignments. And I want to urge you, if a professor gives you the opportunity to redo an assignment, redo the assignment, right? Because your grade can only go up. Hopefully your professor would not take the grade lower, right, with the redo. But the idea is saying, hey, I believe in you. I think you can do this if you have this tweak, right? Especially when they tell you exactly what they're looking for. I tell students, okay, this is missing here. You need to do this. If you do this, you'll get a higher grade. Do those things and get the higher grade. Because there may be a time when you're having a really hard semester and all you can get is C's. Because, you know, you had a death in your family or you're going through relationship issues, right? But if you have the time and the energy, go ahead and put it in and try to get those A's as much as possible to make up for those times when, you know, stuff happens. So yeah, if you get the opportunity to redo assignment, redo the assignment, but I do offer that opportunity when I can.